Nicole, I will make you co-host just so we have backup, if that's okay.
Yep, no worries. I'll record as well.
Oh, all right, let's rewind time. Tell me, what do you want to know about hypnosis and hypnotherapy?
Everything, all
That's
of
a
it.
good answer. When you guys signed up for the intention to learn hypnosis and NLP, what was it that intrigued you about hypnosis?
I had an old boss who had tried to give up chocolate. He had a chocolate addiction, and I don't mean that lightly, like he literally did. And hypnosis was the only thing that changed it for him. And ever since he had been under hypnotherapy, he hasn't eaten chocolate for 2 years, and that is like life changing for him. Life changing. So that was the thing that I was like, oh my gosh, okay, maybe there's something in this.
Oh, nice. So you've seen the results, you've heard someone rave about it. Yeah. Yeah, on one of the mums groups, and someone said, "What's hypnobirthing like?" And I'm like, "It was awesome because I fell asleep through Emma's labor. It was great, so highly recommend." Until an idiot nurse had said, the anesthesiologist on the floor, any pain in here?" And I came out of that trance so fast. Oh, yeah, there was pain. So, Courtney, tell me what intrigued you about learning hypnosis?
I don't know, everything about it intrigues me.
Specifically, what's got your fancy about it, or how do you want to use it, or like, give me more detail.
Well, I don't really know how I'll use it yet.
Yep, fair call. When you got your curiosity up about hypnosis, hypnotherapy, was it something that you wanted to experience for yourself, or like, was there a deliberate reason it got your curiosity?
Yeah, I guess so. I've never had it done, so I don't really know heaps about it.
Yep.
Um, I know that my dad and my pop have both been hypnotized to give up smoking.
Oh, yeah. Is
Um,
that
and
successful?
it didn't work for my dad. I think he's been hypnotized like maybe 3 times. Um, and he's given up for a small amount of time, but he's always gone back to it. But my pop hasn't smoked in like 30 years or something, maybe 40 years.
Wow, what a hypnotherapist. Wow. That's awesome. Yeah. So
Yeah.
again, you're like Lucy, you've seen good results, and it's worked on men, or I'm assuming Lucy, your boss was a man, a guy, chocolate. Yeah, it's working on men. This is great. Awesome. So so Lilo, I'm curious from you. Where is Lilo? She's not. Oh, there. Hi, Lilo.
Hello.
Everyone's just moved then when Karen came in. I'm curious, what got your attention? Oh, hold on. Karen is saying, sorry, she's late. We just started 3 minutes ago, Karen. I has had IT issues. Don't worry, but keep us updated with.
My camera's not working for some reason. I'm just trying to get it working.
That's all right. Neither was mine for half an hour. It's the night for it.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. So sorry, cut you off there, Lilo. What drew you to hypnosis or hypnotherapy?
I keep talking about him, but obviously Joe Dispenza
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and learning about the brain waves and how you can tap into that, yeah, theta brainwave to get hypnotized. And I've actually done past life regression. Is that a form of
Yeah.
hypnosis? Yeah. So I did that, and it was funny to go into that state because I wasn't trusting myself, and my logical mind kept saying, "You're not seeing what you're seeing." But then the hypnotherapist was like, "No, just whatever comes out first is what you're seeing, and that's you just have to say it and go with it."
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You make a good point because the unconscious mind likes to work in symbols. It is not the logical mind. We'll get into that, but people assume that it's going to be logical. And it's like, well, yeah, no, we're not talking to the logical mind. We're going to play, yeah, it's fascinating. Did the past life regression give you what you wanted?
Yeah, it showed me some funny scenes from, yeah, I was a fish in
Yeah.
one point, and the hypnotherapist asked me why she showed me that. And my subconscious mind said because it was just I was a fish going with the flow, and I wasn't like scared of anything. I knew there were sharks and everything out there, but I was just very happy to be a fish.
Nice.
Yeah, it
Nice.
was a good
I
take.
can I've had a past life where I was a rock, so your fish one seems so much more normal.
Yeah, there was others in there that I saw, but I probably won't. If anyone, yeah, wants to hear some woohoo, then we'll talk about it later. But the fish was the most that made sense.
Yeah. And the interesting thing with hypnosis is that when you build your skill set, you can definitely take people past lives, between lives, multi-dimensional lives, or all the things. So it's a fascinating tool to have in the toolkit. It's obviously we've got to start somewhere. So practitioner hypnosis training is the starting point to build your confidence if you pursue any of the other trainings like that. Hypnosis is a lot about, and coaching is a lot about co-creation, trust, support, trusting the support. And again, we're going to go more into that. But I've got a few quick questions here. Lily, how do you feel about receiving support?
Support with what?
No, it's general.
Uh, uh, Depends on what it is. I'm very, yeah. Yeah, depends on what it is and who it's from.
Yeah, that's where we're bringing this one up first. I'll take the spotlight off you and I'll check in, Rachel. Do you find it easier to give or receive support?
That's a good question. I don't know. Um, it's like equal for me. Maybe receive. I don't know. It's equal.
Yeah, it's good
Both.
balance.
Yeah.
That's good. Lucy, what emotions arise for you when you receive unexpected support?
Hmm. It can be like one extreme or the other. I can either get quite resistant and defensive, or I can get overwhelmingly like almost like so emotional because it's like too overwhelming and I feel like so utterly grateful. So yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like again, probably very similar to Lily, depending who it's from and the circumstance.
Yeah, and while we got the spotlight on you and talking about fish, how have you been since last week? Jess is going, what? But anyway,
Oh, do you know what, actually? Okay, actually, and I thank you for bringing this up. Fine. And in fact, my dad sent me a photo this morning. That's so weird. I hadn't even put this two and two together of this
nice.
that he saw this morning. And normally, even just looking at that photo would have given me like the creepy crawlies. And I just didn't even react. I just replied, "Oh my goodness." And that was it. And yeah, I just didn't even realize I didn't even react. So there you go. I think good.
Spider phobia. Just to update you, we did the metaphoric task of telling a story. I think, yeah, yeah. So Lucy got to resolve a phobia through the metaphor. It was awesome. Yay! So yeah, here, Lucy, there's that polarity, there's the overwhelm, there can be the dread, all the things. I'm going to go to the next person, Nicole. Are there any specific types of support that make you uncomfortable? And I'm not talking about bras and underwire, sorry, Manny, but
Um, can I say everything?
I just want to
I
check in.
Yeah. I mean, I struggle. Well, A, I struggle to ask for support. B, I struggle to receive it.
Yeah,
And depending on who it comes from, like a similar thing. I'll be resistant or they'll be overwhelmed. But emotional support, if it comes from someone unexpectedly, I find that very uncomfortable.
Okay, good to know. I'll put the piece of the puzzle together in a second. So, Erin, where is Erin? Oh, there you are. Hi, Erin. Sorry, I'm still adjusting to everyone. How do you balance your boundaries with giving and receiving support?
Terribly. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm not great at receiving, very good at giving, probably too good at giving the support, but yeah, not great at receiving. So there's really the balance is getting better.
Yeah. What is there different types of emotions like what Lucy was describing that come up?
Um, yeah, I'm probably just more uncomfortable like Nicole in general. Receiving, giving just feels easy and normal. Yeah, uncomfortable
Yep.
receiving.
Yeah, fair call. Fair call. The working through the balance. My last question here is for Karen, and she's on camera. Hopefully not with a mouthful. Sorry, Karen.
Okay.
How have your past experiences shaped your ability to receive support or not? Or that's what we're talking about before we're going into hypnosis. How have your past experiences shaped your ability to receive support?
Oh, um, I sort of heard what Nicole and Erin said, and I'd have to agree. I'm I'm very much the same in that I really struggle to ask for support. I do struggle to open up to receive it. I'm much better being in the place where I can offer everyone else the support.
Yeah,
And I guess I've always done that. I'm that person in my family. I'm that person in my friendships.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. The reason that I'm asking these vulnerable big questions is going into hypnosis, there must be a level of trust, there must be a level of trusting the support. There also needs to be a willingness to receive. And so, this chapter talking about hypnosis can be a little bit vulnerable, but it's all about putting yourself into that self-worth state to be able to receive, to make this your opportunity to take in absolutely everything that's on offer with the remaining of this training. Thank you for everyone for sharing, and everyone will obviously get a chance to share. When we're going more into the training, if you do have that guidebook that I emailed, it's about 44 pages. As I was saying at the beginning, and I'm not sure if everyone heard, I've spent several days preparing for this training. I'm always updating, modernizing it. And Jess could probably nod. She's never heard me ask these questions in hypnosis before. So, yeah, so if you've got that guidebook, it's there for you to receive. We're going to go through that instead of doing slideshows where I'm hidden behind pretty pictures. I want you to be able to see me tonight. Now, NLP, the coaching things that we've learnt, parts integration, timeline, all the things, those are specific interventions. Hypnosis is more of a generalized intervention. It's very different to the specific processes that you've learnt. Hypnosis, pardon me, sorry, is the Greek god for sleep. So hypnosis is about waking people up to the possibility of change and the resources available to them. So we're not really putting people into sleep state. We're actually going to dial into a state of mind that gives somebody a level of hyper focus. So it is that. So hypnosis and trance, you'll hear me use that word interchangeably. Now, there is a difference between stage hypnosis. Thank goodness no one kind of mentioned it, had a stage hypnosis and, you know, all of those things that come with that. No, I definitely won't be putting you into a trance to act like a chicken. But if we checked in with Lilo, what sound does a chicken make?
Do I actually have to say it? It's in my head. I can't do it.
Well, that's the thing. That's part of my sense of humor is I don't need to put you into a trance to get you to cluck like a chicken. So if we were all in Lilo's head right then, or your own head, you would have heard it. So hypnotherapy, hypnosis will only get you to do things that are authentic to your values and to your beliefs, your character. If you're a life of the party, super duper extrovert, then yeah, you're going to be the person that's fabulous for stage hypnosis. You will cluck like a chicken, you will thrive on that. But for somebody who's more of an introvert, and yeah, please don't put the spotlight on me, it's less likely that it's not impossible, but it's unlikely that you'll do the ridiculous things. And stage hypnotherapists know that. They will start their process well and truly before they've even indicated that they're putting you into a trance. They're already measuring how suggestible you are, because obviously those who are more suggestible make fabulous, stage cases, I guess you'd say. The more that you're hypnotized, the easier it is. It's like a muscle going to the gym. So in the early days, I would have needed about half an hour of an induction to get me into a really good state of trance. And pretty much now you could click your fingers and or say the magic word, and I would go boom, I would go straight into it. So again, if it's something, if you're married to a hypnotherapist, um, yeah, you don't need to, or go around the other way. You can easily build this muscle if this is something that you're interested in. On the weekend we had a massive big skip, cleaning out the shed and whatever else. And as David was putting on his gloves, and he knows better, but he was putting on his gloves to fill up the skip, and I said, as you put those gloves on, the strength in your muscles gets stronger and stronger, and the determination to fill that skip this afternoon. And he's like, stop it. But that skip got filled within 2 hours. He didn't complain once. So yeah,
I
you
can
could
see how
definitely.
this is going to be so useful in my life. It's like game changer.
Yeah, yes, Haley. And if we went out for coffee, I went out with a friend the other day to Garden World, and there was an arch in Garden World. And she's like, oh, let's go through the arch. And I said, that's right, Caitlin. The more we go through the arch, the calmer we will feel, the more. And she's like, stop it. But she got to the other end and she was like, oh, yeah. So yes, Haley, you can use this to your advantage. It would work well for you, Manny, being a massage person too. Just subtly, when you get on the massage bed, you'll already feel relaxed.
Yeah, I can say some words and they'll feel lighter even
Yeah.
after a 15-minute session. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Manny was massage, deep tissue massage, and I didn't flinch once, Manny. And we
I
came
was
out the
thinking
other
about
end, and
that.
you were more red than I was.
Yeah, I was like, why she's not reacting? Like she came for treatment once and I gave her the super hard deep tissue session and she didn't even move, like didn't even flinch. Like what's going on? She must be very tough. That was the first time, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So I put myself into a trance and switched off the pain, and I was just like, it's whatever needs to shed or move. It was great. Yeah. So
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
poor Manny, he looked more panicked than I felt. But anyway. Okay, so hypnosis is that natural state of mind. Everyone experiences trance every single day. And if I said to you, let me show you what hypnosis is like, just inviting you to close your eyes, taking in that deep breath, breathing in and breathing out all of those IT issues. And again, breathing in, breathing out, and relaxing the muscles around your eyes, relaxing them so much, relaxing those eyes. So you couldn't possibly relax them anymore, so much so that they just start to hold close. And I invite you to test them and make sure that they stay shut as you allow that hypnosis to work its way deeper and deeper. And so when you're ready, opening those eyes, coming back to the room, coming back to this time that we call reality, and undo those eyes, letting them open in 3, 2, 1. And pretty much, guys, that is hypnosis. It is somebody taking the lead, somebody following, and just giving them the suggestions on where they need to go. Here's the legal definition of hypnosis. Hypnosis is the bypass of the critical faculty. Remember that filter between the conscious and the unconscious? So the hypnosis is the bypass of the critical faculty. It's the accepting of selective thinking, thoughts, concepts, and ideas that is okay by the receiver, that's consistent to your values. So that's the legal definition. And if you could see that up on the slide and take in all of the words, you would question then when are you not in trance? Like, by definition, technically sitting in a movie, being immersed in the film, one minute you're sitting in the seat eating the popcorn and the next minute you're riding a horse with Robin Hood. Like, are you hypnotized or are you in trance? So here we've got the big point that even the legal people can't put a specific framework over what is hypnosis. Truth be told, hypnosis is actually quite young in Victoria. That's in 1981 for Victoria and 2010 for New South Wales. You had to be medically trained to do hypnotherapy. So if you were a professional psychologist, dentist, you were legally allowed to do hypnosis, but it's now completely deregulated because they can't legally write out what is the specific difference with hypnosis versus being awake. So for anybody who's coming into this training and worrying about being sued or the regulation or all the things that go with it, no, hypnosis is not regulated. So there's obviously a duty of care, but it's not regulated. So just something to keep in mind. Any questions on any of that stuff? No. The other big one for NLP practitioners is, unless you're a clinical hypnotherapist, it's a different training, that's like 18 months. You are absolutely discouraged from using hypnosis or hypnotherapy with schizophrenia, personality disorders, bipolar, epilepsy. So schizophrenia, personality disorders, bipolar, and epilepsy. I could go into all of the science to why, but we've got so much content to cover. I won't go into it too much, but just know that a lot of those people are already living within an alternate reality themselves. So hypnosis is, it's no, it's just don't. Any questions on that one? There are hundreds of different types of courses, books on what to do with hypnotherapy. Today, within your training, you are immersing yourself into Milton Erickson. That's why it's the Ericksonian Hypnotherapy Certificate. And we're also going to dive into the Dave Ellman process. But there is other hypnotherapists, other modalities within hypnosis, George Estabrooks, and there's a list of them. So you're getting trained down one specific corridor of hypnosis. That's one of the reasons why it's so short within the training. So if you remember back in the beginning of the training, I had said that there were a few people that contributed to to NLP. There was Virginia Satir, who did the family therapy, Robert Dilts, who did the logical levels. Manny put up a video about that one. There's Gregory Bateson about framing, Fritz Perls. We're now looking at Milton Erickson. Now, he was a very interesting character because he was an American psychiatrist and psychologist, and he specialized in medical hypnosis. This man was absolutely brilliant, even though he had contracted polio as a child at 17. He also had dyslexia. He was colorblind, tone deaf. So he had a very strong focus in communication and being able to help people who also had trouble with communication, I guess you'd say. So he was quite brilliant in the way that he could match a mirror and then take somebody on a journey. I want you to think about this statement, a quote from Milton Erickson. He would say that your clients are your clients because they're not in rapport with their unconscious mind. So I'll say that again. Your clients will be your clients because they're not in rapport with their unconscious mind. Hayley, does anything stand out to you about that comment?
It's like you're sort of a conduit for them to access their subconscious mind.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. Yes.
Yeah, like that's all I'm getting.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, being that conduit, absolutely. I'm going to get Jess's voice involved. Jess, why would we need to be a conduit for somebody's unconscious mind?
I don't know what conduit means.
The middleman, the bridge.
Oh, why would we need to be a conduit for someone else's mind? So they can build rapport with their unconscious mind.
Yep, okay. Let's check in then. Lucy, why would we want rapport with the unconscious mind?
Well, that's where like the power distribution of the brain lies. So based off different research, I think is it 70 to 90% of the power lives in the unconscious mind and only 10 to 30% in the conscious. Is that right?
Yes, that is right. Yes, I love the science. Good kick of AD for us tonight. That's awesome. Erin, why would we want to tap into somebody's unconscious mind?
I think that's kind of like if we get into rapport with our unconscious mind, that's where their healing comes.
Yep.
Like, yeah, they can heal themselves.
Yeah, because the opposite of that, if they were in rapport with their unconscious mind, then there wouldn't be any issues. It would all be congruent. It would all just match. We're doing this. Yep, we are. But the unconscious mind says, the logical mind says, yep, we're doing this. The unconscious mind says, have you thought about the worst case scenario? What if this happens? What if there's a fear for being judged? What if I speak up? What if and that's where the unconscious mind needs it's what we do as coaches and hypnotherapists is we go in and we talk to the unconscious mind going, mate, what's your problem? Like, give me your objections. Like, let's sort this out. So that's why within hypnosis, we bypass that critical faculty and check in on the strategy that's playing out. Does that make sense? So Milton Erickson is an interesting character because he will use very interesting language to get somebody into a level of trance, where some hypnotherapists can be quite authoritative and quite direct. Erickson's approach was more accommodating and indirect. So, for example, a classical hypnotherapist may say something like, you are going into a trance. There's an invitation, there's a suggestion. An Ericksonian hypnotist would be more likely to say that you can comfortably learn how to go into a trance. And in this way, he provides the client with the opportunity to follow the suggestions or not. And this is where, when we spoke about that double bind, you're going into trance now or later, but either way, there's no option. The client's like, okay, that's where I'm going. But the language indicates that there's an option. Is this making sense so far? So, what I want to do very momentarily, just for fun at my end more so, I want you to think about how resistant people can be when we tell them to like go exercise, or my teenagers, go clean your room, or like we've run out of dishes, Madison, get the bowls out. Um, but people naturally, right, they don't like to be told, rubs them up the wrong way, being told what to do. So, one of the ways around this with hypnosis is to start to put somebody into a trance where we generate that level of confusion so that they will just like, I'll do anything to get out of this confusion. Fine, I'll exercise, or fine, I'll go clean my room. So this is what that confusion can feel like. You ready for it? So we become increasingly indirect to help a client exercise. And so we become increasingly indirect to help them create change, such as a story or a metaphor, which we explored last week. Because the truth is, you have a conscious mind and you have an unconscious mind. And your conscious mind has always ways of understanding. However, the kind of conscious understanding that you are consciously going to understand is different from the unconscious understandings that you are unconsciously understanding. And then there are misunderstandings. And you can consciously understand your unconscious misunderstandings, or you can unconsciously misunderstand your conscious understandings. But the kind of unconscious conscious understandings is different from the unconscious understandings. And then you realize that you can't really understand until you exercise this week. Are you right there, Sarah?
Oh my gosh, what did you just say? Oh, well, you got us confused for sure.
Yeah, right. And did you notice, like, by third sentence, your brain just like spasm, gives up, and like just whatever, like, and then
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we can make hypnosis as fancy as we want, or not. Yeah, it's quite an interesting place to be in. Any questions so far?
I have a question on that
Yeah.
because I feel like it makes me want to ask questions rather than like escape when so is that still a state, I guess, of action? So that's the objective, right? You're wanting to create a sense of action.
Yeah, the confusion comes in and it's like, okay, give me clarity. What do I need to know about this?
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you.
And so you could use that kind of stuff just before a swish, right? You could do what I've just done with somebody who wants to exercise and now like swish and they're like, I'll do anything. Like, yes, ready to receive. Yeah. So if you've got the guidebook there, I can't tell you what page because I've got mine, which is a little bit different. But if you want to have a look here, I'm just going to quickly read through trance and hypnosis. So that we all go into trance absolutely every single day. And it really is that feeling of being at a red light and losing track of time. When you're so absorbed in that movie, as I said earlier, you can't tell the difference between logical mind and trance. So hypnosis is that state between waking and asleep, or your awareness and yeah, the lack of awareness of what's going on. People will say to me that I don't think I can be hypnotized. Some clients may, before we get started, say, "What if it doesn't work?" That's never happened for me. I've never had a client who can't go into trance. But when people say, like, "I don't think I can be hypnotized," that's an understandable question to ask for clarity, but it actually indicates the client's lack of understanding about what is trance, because it's a natural state that we all go into absolutely every single day. However, with hypnotherapy, it's that state of consent and cooperation. So if somebody had said, you can't hypnotize me, well, I'm a bit rebellious. I'd want to anyway, I won't go there. But if somebody said, you can't hypnotize me, I'm actually going to say, of course of course I can't. I'm going to say, you're going to do that yourself. So no one's going to make anybody do anything that they don't want to do. And so that puts the responsibility back on the client, that if this is the change that they're willing and ready to make happen, and all of the logical things haven't worked, they've paid their money, I want to be the non-smoker, whatever it is, it's like, yeah, the power is in your hands. So it doesn't really matter if you can be hypnotized or not. The question is, are you going to allow yourself to make the change? Does that make sense? So if I had said to you or to a client, close your eyes, relax the muscles around your eyes so much that you can't relax them anymore, Whose responsibility is it to close their eyes? Is it the coach or the client? Yeah. And if I said, if I'm the trusted expert in that role and I ask the client to close their eyes and they don't, somebody speak up. What does that mean if they actually don't follow those instructions?
They're not willing.
Yeah. Yeah, it can mean that they're not willing. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It can also mean that they're just not going to follow the instructions. Not willing, they're not following the instructions. That's actually all I know about it at that time. They could be nervous about trance. Maybe I haven't pre-framed it enough, all of the things. But what it absolutely highlights is that they're not following the instructions. That's actually all it's telling us in that moment. So while there could be multiple reasons why they're not following the instructions, it doesn't mean that they can't be hypnotized. So again, this comes back to that conversation I had earlier with everybody about receiving, being willing to receive. Because at the end of the day, I consider hypnosis to be a little bit like playing the piano. As the hypnotherapist, I'm going to know the notes that I'm going to play, and it's going to be a big orchestra, and I'm going to take you into under the ocean with Lilo, and then we do the things, and then we come back, and you will, there will be within the hypnotherapy side of things, with somebody who knows what they're doing, the client will follow along. Had that been your experience too, Lily? It was just like, yep, let's make this happen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Did you want to say anything more? Or was like, yep, that's it. It works.
No, and I was reading, no, that's, yeah, it, I think, yeah, there's not much more I want to add to that.
But yeah, rapport is
Can I,
absolutely essential within hypnosis. Was somebody going to ask something then?
Yeah, can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
So, if you had a client that wasn't obviously ready to follow instructions, would you then go back to doing a different modality to get them to that position, or you wouldn't do hypnotherapy with them at all?
Good question. I would say what comes to mind is probably not appropriate, but I would consider the pre-frame and all of that a little bit like foreplay. And I'm not going to go ahead if I don't have that consent, which is probably a really tacky metaphor, forgive me. But we are working with people's vulnerabilities. I won't go that next step until I've got the clear sign that they're all. And to be honest with you, Sarah, I often have the team and people who've been coached by me will tell you, okay, like we look like we're about to start, and then the team say to me, "You're missing a piece of info here," and I'm like, "Okay, well then give me the question."
Okay.
And then I'll get that aha. It feels like a wash of golden energy, or like doors open, like, okay, I've got everything I need.
Okay.
So if you're intuitive, your guides will step
Yeah.
in because they know that that session was booked, and they know that like it's time for things to change. That's the way that I approach it.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
So I will also sometimes I can come across overconfident, but I will also make sure that I step into that confidence to hold the space so that somebody has the freedom and the flexibility to explore all the things. Because you really want to make sure that if you're working with people's issues, there's a respect there on both sides. Yeah, on both sides, you absolutely need that. Oh, there was something else that was coming up then with that. No, it's gone, team. No.
That's okay. Thank you.
No, that's all right. Um, so basically the purpose of hypnosis is to give the dog a bone, give that logical mind a bone to like go and gnaw on over here while I go and work within the unconscious mind to help the client make the shifts and changes. So it will help somebody shift their self-worth, their self-confidence. But once they've got that confidence, then you need to still talk about the strategies. If they're having issues with their boss or something, they still need the coaching to be able to say, okay, well, now how are you going to approach that boss scenario free from the anxiety? How are you going to put in those boundaries? So hypnotherapy can be used in a clinical setting. It can be used for all the things. I think I've seen it all: anxiety, asthma, chronic pain, chronic health issues, migraines, obesity, thumb sucking, sexual problems, stuttering, health problems, smoking, all of the things. So you name it, you can definitely use hypnosis with. Is there any questions so far? All right. So obviously need rapport with your client. We've already covered that, how to build rapport. So I'm going to just slide over that part in the manual. I'm not going to test Zoom. I had a Richard Bandler piece I was going to share with you. I'll put it up on Facebook. But basically, Richard Bandler's attitude to hypnotherapy, one of his quotes was that people are not having enough fun, that if they're not, it's not that they're not capable of having fun, it's just that they're taking their problems way too seriously. So, as a coach, as a hypnotherapist, being able to give somebody back that personal freedom is huge. Now, sidestepping here, do we remember the difference between chunking up and chunking down? I saw you nod, Rachel. What are we doing when we chunk down?
Getting more specific.
Yeah, and then chunking up?
Getting more broad, I guess.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. So we've learnt the meta model and we've chunked down what specifically, give me a strategy on how you do your problem. Hypnosis and the Milton model is chunking up and it's going into trance and it's being abstract. It's, letting you know that as you're sitting there in the chair is going to take all of your worries away so that when you get up, that chair will no longer hold the weight that you need it to be holding. Like we're just going abstract and we're going weird and wonderful. Now, we have talked in the training about the difference between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. We've got the statistics there, which is awesome. Lucy's got right on the tip of her tongue. We've got the logical, rational part of your mind that's switched on and listening. But hypnosis works by accessing the unconscious mind, bypassing the critical faculty. We don't do this in practitioner, but has anyone seen the handshake interrupt? You shake someone's hand and then they go into trance. Fascinating stuff, right? So as you would know from hypnotherapy or hypnosis, you would expect there'd be a countdown, on 10 and 9 and 8, but the one of the ways to bypass the critical faculty is to give somebody a handshake, and it's a handshake interrupt that you shake their hand and then you actually give them a bit of a jolt to their system, which immediately bypasses the critical faculty, and it's the most strangest feeling. So I only share that with you to say that you can bypass the critical faculty, not just from slowing down and relaxing. You can do all sorts of other things to put somebody into a level of trance. Yeah. Now, I think it was Courtney who was saying the curious. Oh, was it? Oh gosh, I should have written a note. Somebody was saying that they were curious about the brainwaves. This is where we're playing. So your brain right now is an electrical hub or a hub of electrical activity. And obviously, as we've spoken, the neurons are working, they're sending electrical signals one to the other. In this training, we cover the basic 5 brain waves. So that's the beta, alpha, theta, delta, and gamma. So we're just going to briefly talk about those. We've got the alpha, that's the sorry, start again. We've got the bring up my page there. So the alpha waves, oh, we've lost Lily. The alpha waves fall in the middle of that frequency. So this is when your brain is awake, but not concentrating on any specific task. So this is the alpha here is about being in like a meditation side of things. This is considered a bit of a light trance. Then we've got the theta brainwave. I sometimes mispronounce it, but this is when we're going more into that trance-like state. We're communicating with our guides, we're accessing the healing, we're less aware of what's going on around us, and we're really more focused inward. And then the next one after that is the delta, which is more of that. I have always have trouble pronouncing this one. The somnambulism, can't say it. That's the deep state of trance. Not many hypnotherapists will use such a deep state. They normally stay within the theta brainwave. And this is where clients feel more of a sense of amnesia. They won't remember what they say in trance at that really, really deep level. You can take them to other worlds, but you need to absolutely have something recording their response, especially if they start speaking ancient language and things. They won't be able to recall it. They won't have any idea of it. So today we're really focusing more on that theta brainwave. As I'm talking about this, I'm just checking, have you guys got the pictures up within the guidebook there? Jess has? So you can see there that we've got the gamma. That's that peak focus, that heightened perception, information processing, like that super duper doing an exam. The beta brainwave there is problem solving. So in school, doing your maths. The alpha is that relaxed, calm, recharging, going for a walk, maybe at the beach. You could be in a bit of a meditative state, pulling out weeds in the garden. The theta brainwave, that's the one where we tap into your intuition, we tap into your healing, we tap into the spirit world, we tap into all the fun stuff at the theta level. And then the delta, yeah, that's the really deep stuff. I don't play in the delta. I don't find it interesting at all. Any questions with that one? So, with that in mind, before we go to the next page, what do you, I know I've said, being at a red light, losing track of time, but what do you expect if you signed up for a hypnotherapy session, what would you expect within, the expectation of being hypnotized?
Yeah, previously, I used to think it will be like a movie, the way the way they show it in the movies,
Yeah.
TikTok, TikTok, and then you're out.
And then if they were doing that, what was your expectation of what it would feel like?
No, I'll be following all the instructions.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me a little bit more, Manny, when you're following the instructions, what are your expectations for the sensory input, what you'd see, hear, smell, like what are your expectations on that one?
What are my expectations? Um, I don't know what are my expectations.
Yeah, let's check in the thank you for that. If we checked in the room, does anyone expect that being hypnotized, they're going to see really crisp, sharp images? Lilo's nodding. Lily, is that a question, Lily?
Well, no,
Welcome.
it depends on your rep system, doesn't it? As to what, yeah.
It does, yeah. What was it like for you, Lily? Like if you wanted to share with people like how the visuals looked or how the hearing felt or
Mine, I got visuals, but the strongest part was the knowing. So I just sort of knew the answers to the question, and then I'd go back and I'm like, yes, I was. Just the answer would come to me, and I had that sort of sense of knowing more than I did see things, but that sense of knowing was stronger.
yeah. Yeah, that's a brilliant way of describing it. And then the images then weren't so crisp.
No, they weren't the main thing they were sort of like a secondary. It was there. I could sense the feeling and the sort of overall look, but I wasn't immersed in it. It was more like my brain just knew exactly what was happening. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jess, what would you add to that about what your experience is of hypnosis?
You said me, right?
Yeah, sorry. Yep.
Okay, cool. No, that's good. I am the exact same as Lily. Like, I know I tap into my feelings a lot as well. Like, I can just feel what's going on, but basically, I just know the images aren't that crisp. They're just like kind of there in and out. Um, but mainly the knowing.
Yeah. And then when I've put you into a level of trance, you would have noticed that if there's something to look at, I will specifically ask you to look uh, more than just expect you to get it. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. And then the picture will come in clear.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, thank you, Lily and Jess and Manny. You highlight a really important part. I will have somebody fill out their rep system before I do any in-depth hypnotherapy with anybody, because this is one of the fears that people have. Oh, what if I don't see anything? I'm like, do you see things in your day-to-day? You know, if you think about the person that you knew back in grade 6, your best friend in school, like, can you see them in your mind? And they're like, well, no, I just remember a knowing about them or a feeling about them. And it's like, that's pretty much what your hypnotherapy experience is going to be like. Whereas somebody who's got sharp visuals will see, and you then need to direct them to notice, how does that feel? So the rep system does play a huge role in doing trance. Does that make sense? So to help your clients ease into the experience of that, there's some things that you can pre-frame them, is to don't expect to feel hypnotized, because whatever you've seen on the movies, it's not going to be like that. It's not going to be, it could be, but it's not going to be like that IMAX theater, like you're in a whole nother world. Could be, but most people don't. So you tell them not to feel, don't expect to feel hypnotized, because whatever expectation they've got is going to be different. You actually tell them don't expect to feel relaxed. That's an odd one, right? So while relaxation is a byproduct of hypnosis, some people don't feel relaxed. They're in the early days for me, I would feel quite agitated having to sit still. So it wasn't a relaxing experience for me at all. You need to tell people that they are absolutely in control the entire time, especially if they're nervous. So people will need to obviously have trust with the hypnotherapist, but they're absolutely in control. They'll be able to come out of the trance if they want. They'll be able to, yeah, they're running the show. I can't think of any other examples there. And if you need to take it one step further, you can tell your client that all trance is learning about how to go into trance. So all trance is learning how to go into trance. This is where I've said in the past, where sometimes your clients, they'll say, oh, it didn't work or something. And the fact that they sat down in the chair, they allowed themselves to relax, have the induction, have the deepener, that something's happened there. There's some level of learning how to trust themselves in that moment that's going to create a ripple effect of trusting themselves the next time that they ask for help. So it doesn't mean that it didn't work. We always celebrate. It's like, awesome, something's changed. We're on the way. And you, as the hypnotherapist, if that's as far as you get, then you may want to bring them back to the room, talk about what caused them to stop the process. But it doesn't mean it didn't work. It just means that they chose to exit it. Does that kind of make sense? Any questions?
Yes. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but so you go through the process and at the end, do you write down notes? I think I know this because I think I asked you this the other day. Write down notes about what they're talking about so you can relay it to them, or will they remember it usually?
No, even my notes for tonight, they're not really readable. Yeah, my notes, I am I have sensory overload if I do it on camera as well, because I'm really taking in all the things that they're saying and hearing their guides, all the things. I don't know why my memory works like this, but I had a client who, oh, you can't hypnotize me, blah 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 blah. She was so nervous, and then she went whoop, she went right into the past life, and she's describing the type of shoes and the buttons on the shoes, and it was just the Mary Janes, and it was just like, oh my God, the detail in that. And the horse got a fright, and the green apples went everywhere, and all the things. So what I was actually drawing in my notes was the little shoes and the green apples. I wasn't writing that, I was actually drawing it. And the way that my mind works was I could look at that and I bang, okay, this is what we were working on.
Yeah, I guess that's more where I'm coming from. Like, to do you find people generally at the end will be like, oh, what just happened? And then do you saying, do you want me to remind you? Or do they
Yeah.
not ask that? Do they go, oh, wow, that was great. I went to this place, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so there's different types of, bring me back to answering that, because I go off on tangents. If a client is a bit nervous, that is when I will tap into my psychic. That'll be like a course next year, but that's actually where I tap into my psychic stuff. And if they've gone to ancient Egypt, then I'm already kind of there with them. I've already tapped into their past lives and all of the things, and I'm like, they'll be saying, "Oh yeah, we're at a lake," and they'll say, There's some people over on the other side of the lake," and I'm like, "Yes, they're the masters, like let's go and talk to them, let's go and talk to the three of them." And they're like, "Yes, let's do that." um but I'd already picked up on that info beforehand, so I wouldn't expect most hypnotherapists to do that, but that's one of the skills why we go so far with the process. My notes, yes, I will definitely write down key words that are important to the client, and I will repeat those words regularly throughout the process to emphasize what their learnings are, what the focus is. Um, and at the end of the session, I will only unpack something if they want to know. So some of the healing, like Jess would probably be one of the best. Jess would probably be one of the best people to explore this with, because there's been many times, right, Jess, where you've come out healing amnesia. There's been good times where I've explained it, and then there's been times where healing amnesia served you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think healing amnesia is my way. It just seems to be my way.
Do you want to describe for people, Jess, what that's like?
Yeah. Okay. Does everyone remember what healing amnesia is, by the way, first? Or have we covered that? Okay.
No, it's all good.
So like when you're going through the process, like some people get a lot of breakthroughs straight, or like during and straight after. So they have the breakthrough, so you have something to sort of go off. But when you have healing amnesia, you kind of, maybe like a week or so later, you maybe think about the thing that you're working on. You're like, oh, I'm just not doing that thing anymore. So it wasn't like a direct breakthrough of like, whoa, like I feel it. It's like oh, I haven't done that thing anymore, So it's just kind of like it happens, and it's just your new way of being now.
Yeah, I love that. Lily, can you relate to that?
Yeah, I was just thinking of what happens to me. I think I don't know actually, because I think I can't at the time. I'm like, okay, maybe it is a bit of healing amnesia, because then I'm like, just bang, like everything just happens, and I'm like, it's just everything is so different. People react to me differently.
Yeah, you're breaking up slightly at my end, but Yeah, I think you just said people respond to you differently. Oh, come
That's
back.
really, I've got to rethink. Screen just froze. I don't know if everyone heard that. No.
We heard bits of
Amnesia. I don't
it.
know. What would you say with me, Claire? How would you? What would you? Pardon?
Lily, do you want to turn your camera off? I think your internet's. Yeah.
Yep.
What was that question, Lily?
That's better. Sorry, what would you say? I would.
For you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know that after every session, I feel absolutely amazing and everything just changes.
Yeah, well, I can like I've got a fresh client experience on my mind. I'll have to think more about yours. It'll come back to me. I had a client who was really anxious that her husband was going away and that she was going to be left home alone with however many kids for however long he was going. And she was so anxious and she like even going to the park, Claire, like it's just like how do you? And we worked through that. And then the next call, she's like, I'm like, how's your week been? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, well, we went to the park and blah, blah, blah. And then he came home and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait, stop. Like, that was huge. You went to the park? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. So I sit there spasming going like, do I tell you that's what we worked on last week? Like that was a big deal last week. And now it's, last fortnight or whatever. So that's the healing amnesia is they don't remember that it's been a problem for them. And so when you work with people with attracting in clients or public speaking or making lots of money, and they're like, oh yeah, and made a $10,000 sale, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, that was a thing 2 weeks. Healing amnesia. It's fun. Get some coaching on that. It can corrode your self-esteem. Like, I helped you do that. No. Any questions on that? We will have a break in a minute.
I have a question.
Yeah, please, as I drop my pen.
This might be a bit backwards. So, but like I think every time when you wouldn't do like the pre-work, for example, like if I have a client that I've been working with for a long time and I have like good rapport with them, sometimes I will go into a process without saying, okay, now we're going to do this, like I'll just go into it. I'm just wondering if it comes into something like hypnosis, could that kind of like, if we're already sort of going smoothly, could that kind of like create a level of like, oh, okay, like, like discomfort or anything?
Question. Sometimes if somebody's coming to me to work on money issues, I think that we're going to go down one avenue and I've told them that we're going to go down one avenue. They'll say something and it's like, nah, hypnosis is better. Like there's a thing there. And so I will still take charge, but I'll also get the client's input, Jess, and I'll say, okay, we can keep doing the thing, but my intuition saying like this way, I'm curious where's our intuition taking us? And so they may be really fixated, no, I need that. So I still will give the client the option. Did that kind of answer that?
Yeah, that rings a bell as well. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and so I'll just make a note and do the other thing in the next session, or I'll add it in later. Yeah, good question.
Thank
Any
you.
other good questions?
Yeah, well, yeah, sorry. Now it's a very side question, but it's just off what you said. It sounds like you plan your sessions.
If somebody's doing a coaching program, yeah.
But maybe this is a question for another day, so I can ask it in the Facebook group if so. But that's something I've never done before. So what, I guess from your perspective, is the benefit of like planning a session versus allowing what comes up and trusting yourself that you'll bring the right tool to the table?
Oh no, there's still a trust. There's actually so much trust that when a client signs up for coaching, I can already anticipate if they're saying that it's daddy issues, then we need to work on commitment stuff, we need to work on receiving stuff, da, 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 da. And 9 times out of 10, I'm always not like a 99% always accurate, because that person's already told me in the pre-coaching questionnaire what needs to be solved, and they don't even know they've told me.
Okay.
And so it doesn't surprise me when we get up to session 3 and they're like, oh, this thing happened, and I'm like, yeah, that was expected. So it's not so much planning like we're going to do parts integration and stuff like that, but the theme is
Right.
always the theme is always very predictable, because I've niched down who I will work with, and yeah, my expectations for what's. And the truth is, Lucy, like if somebody signs up for coaching and then they have a hiccup between sessions, I would actually prefer to get on the phone for 20 minutes to get them back on track than have to spend a whole 90 minutes getting them back on track. So yeah, it's quite an intense relationship in that time.
Yeah, cool. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, Lily.
Can you use I'll turn my video off, sorry. Can you use hypnosis just to, I guess, not just fix an issue? Can you use it to manifest something?
Yeah.
So you can use it more like to actually embed what they want, not just to like fix
Yeah,
anxiety.
we're not just fixing. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
And truth be told, everybody, the stuff that I'm teaching you in the next few nights together, you guys could take this and make 100 grand in 6 months, easy. Easy. Yay!
Yeah, that's so weird. That was what I said to myself this morning. I'm gonna make 100 grand in 6 months. This morning.
Easy.
That's so strange. Well,
Yeah.
everything, by the way.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So that's where this stuff, if you guys tuned in, tapped in, is like you guys are sitting on a gold mine with this trading. It's exciting. So going back to hypnosis, and I'm aware that I'll need to do break time, but within the hypnotherapist's voice, they obviously need to be aware of your tone. Preferably the radio DJ, the 3 a.m. radio DJ kind of driving home monotone kind of voice is best. The breathing is important. If you're going to suggest that your client breathe, you breathe because they're following you like doing a dance. Make sure that you pause so that they can process. Yeah, make sure the volume is not too loud, not too quiet. Just trying to think of the other things. Yeah, taking your time. You can record yourself and then listen back and take notice of what you would want different. But yeah, that really deep, rich, clear voice, slower, the better. Yeah, so obviously there's going to be a difference within the language, that the everyday language where usually conveying information. The hypnotic language is usually more therapeutic, making suggestions. The day-to-day life may not use repetition. In hypnosis, we will. Yeah, quite rhythmic, quite calm. Yeah, so we're going to skip on that one. We've already learnt how to go into trance. Do you remember right at the beginning we learned about expanded awareness, where you were to focus on a dot and then magic fingers and just take your awareness out? It's one way to get somebody into a trance. Metaphors, telling a story the minute that they're out of their logical mind and following the story, like following a movie, they've now gone into a trance. Timeline uses the active imagination. So again, they're out of their logical mind and they've started to go into trance. So you guys have been covering this now for what feels like 6 months, maybe 4 or 5 months now. So anything I teach you in the next couple of nights together isn't going to be anything hugely different. You'll notice when a client is in trance, if you've got them on camera or in person with you, is that their breathing will start to change. They may start to yawn. They may start to swallow, which is one that I do. It's quite annoying because it suddenly just, yeah, anyway. The head might nod forward, which is an obvious one for trance. And then the other weird one is that their eye movements will just go nuts. And they may even feel it too. And it's just, yeah, you don't need to see me do that, make you dizzy. But anyone else sort of, has anyone experienced that, being in a level of meditation, active visualization, and notice your eyes going absolutely nuts, or the swallowing or the yawning? Yep, just nodding. These are all just signs that your client's gone into trance. Sometimes you need to tell the client that if they freak out about it, afterwards. But it means that they're doing a really good job. Keep in mind, as we've spoken about already, that if somebody's in trance, they are hugely suggestible. Don't forget your shopping bags. They're hugely suggestible in trance. You need to be specific in your language about exactly what you want them to do, like putting on the gloves and super strength, and you'll feel that skip in 2 hours. Like, you need to actually tell them what you want, that the benefit of getting this aha moment means that you'll be able to move forward in your life and make that 100 grand in 6 months. As you relax deeply now, you'll see the future with your eyes closed and know that you're going to step into it. Like, you're going to use the specific wording on what you want the client to receive, and that's already been discussed before they've gone into trance. So yeah, that suggestibility is huge. So when they're awake, the language is different, it's indirect. When they're in trance, it is direct. This is exactly what I want you to do. Making sense? Looks like you got an aha there, Nicole.
No, I'm
That
gonna.
was so cute.
No, there's just a few things that were going through my head. Well, one of them, I was reading all these scripts earlier. Could I have got into a trance? Because I noticed after I was doing this while I was reading them, and it was probably like the fourth one along. I'm like, I'm just like going around in circles. That was one thing that was happening in my head then. Then the second one was, sometimes we've done a session and you've called it conversational something.
Yeah, belief change.
Yeah. But then some stuff you're saying, I'm like, oh, was I in a trance then, even though it was just a conversation, like I didn't have my eyes closed? Is that what happened?
Yeah, it's conversational belief change. It's a hypnotherapist mastery tool. Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't have to be close the eyes, breathe, see the picture. It literally, when we did that thing with Karen, not you, Karen, like that scenario with the Karen with
yeah,
Karen.
Your client, Karen.
It was it was just a conversation, but that was when my mind just went like, oh, you got me on that. But didn't think I was in any different state.
Yeah, we all worked together. We all got Lucy with can't remember what issue that was, right, Lucy? The metaphor last week.
I feel like there were many metaphors.
Yeah, but we got rid of that thing that I can't remember what we were working on.
Ah, yes.
The bridge, right? Or crabs, I don't know, something. So yes, Nicole, you can only imagine the agony writing a hypnotherapy script, why it takes me absolutely days to write one. I go into trance and then I read it to check my spelling, and it's just like, no, don't put that word in that script. Yeah. So the other day took the group through the intuition activation and talking to your higher self and all the things. And oh my gosh, I spent like days up in trance with the higher self. Like, guys, you've got to stop doing this. So with that, I'm going to take you through a suggestibility test, and then we will have a quick 10-minute break. So if you have a client that doesn't believe in hypnosis, or you're a hypnotherapist that works with quit smoking and you want to make your point that this stuff works, then you do a suggestibility test. Now I'm going to take you through it. We'll have a break, and then I'm going to take you through 2 more. So I just want to inviting you just to have this experience with your eyes opened or closed. It will not matter. But I know that we've all experienced what it's like to taste a lemon. and thinking back to that time when you did taste a lemon. I just want you to use your imagination, and I want you to imagine that you walk into a kitchen, any kitchen, any kitchen that you like. And it could be your kitchen, Nana's kitchen, kitchen that you've seen on TV. And imagine walking into that kitchen, going over to the fridge, grab hold of the handle of the door of the fridge, I should say, and noticing the sound of the fridge as you open up that door, opening up that fridge wide and looking inside and noticing all of that sensation, that cold air just starting to touch and tickle your face, perhaps even smelling the fresh food in there. Noticing a glass bowl filled with those luscious ripe lemons on the middle shelf. And perhaps those lemons have leaves on them, or perhaps they don't. But I just want you to notice those vibrant yellow lemons. And in fact, I just want you to grab one of those lemons, take it over to the bench where you'll find that chopping board, that perfect chopping board, and a knife nearby. I would like you to imagine just picking up that sharp knife and carefully cutting that lemon in half, noticing the sensation and the texture as you do, the chop of that lemon board or the chopping board, and noticing the smell of that lemon as it just bursts into the air. It's that breathing in that fragrance, it hits the back of your nose, that fresh new smell of lemons. And as you take one of those lemon halves, I just invite you to pick it up, notice what you need to notice about this experience. And it's your kitchen, so let's make a mess. Let's lift up that lemon up to your mouth, up to your chin, and starting to squeeze that lemon juice into your mouth and just feeling that zest, that flavor of lemon as it signals to your muscles to have that squinty kind of feeling, that fresh feeling. Noticing all of the sensations, the taste, the smell, the feeling that citrus on the tongue. And as your mouth starts to water, you just swallow all of that beautiful lemon juice and just like, wow. As it just pours down over your chin, that fresh lemon breath. And as you've eaten that slice of lemon now, I just invite you to come back to the room, opening your eyes. Whose mouth is watering? Yeah, awesome. Rachel, do you want to share like what you experienced?
Yeah, the pictures were really clear for me, I think. And like the more sensations you spoke to, the more I, really was in that, yeah, like the smells and even the sound. And then yeah, when I like squeezed the lemon into my mouth just pooled with saliva, like it was like a pool. Um, and I knew it was coming, so I was kind of smiling because I was like, I'm going to be eating this lemon in a second. Yeah, it's just in
Yeah,
there.
incredible, right? Your mind is that powerful. Like that's the Joe Dispenza stuff. Your mind is that powerful that it will if it's in the memory bank, it will recreate it as if it's happening now. Which goes to show if we're in a state of anxiety, our mind is going to play it just as much as it's going to play the fun and the pleasure, right? It's this is something that you can absolutely take control of and utilize that yeah, the mind body connection. It's fabulous.
So if someone's never, like, interestingly, like if I was to literally put lemon juice in my mouth, I'd probably be like, make a bit of a face, but that didn't really, like, I couldn't really taste the lemon juice.
Like your body responded to it, like the saliva and stuff. It was
Yeah.
ready.
So if someone has never seen a lemon,
Mm.
would you be able to do this?
Probably not. You'd probably, I probably could have checked. You've all tasted a lemon, right? You could use, I don't know, mango. You could use anything really.
Mhm. But how is that? how is that different to then if you're like manifesting and you're going into things that you haven't done before and that works?
Well, like, what would you give me a clue on what you'd want to manifest?
Um, like say I had a building that was my business, but I've never had that. I don't have a building. But I can
Yeah.
vision, yeah, I don't know. Would you be, I don't really know what I'm trying to ask,
No,
actually.
that's all right. So that's where the magic happens, Rachel. I was saying to somebody earlier today that if I was doing switch gears, if I was doing healing for somebody, like my daughter had, she did years ago, but having nose surgery, then I knew that I was not going to be in the state to send healing or do all the good things on that day. So from this moment, I'd sent healing into the future like a balloon, hence the cover on my book. It's like send it into the future. And so that I knew that when I was dropping her off into hospital, it was like popping that balloon, give me that healing in this now moment. So it had already been set up. Now, some of the fun side of things with timeline and hypnosis and just going outside of time, like this is so not NLP practitioner, but I do believe that when we use timeline and we go back to our younger self, going back to when you were 3, I believe you're like a spirit guide. I believe you're traveling time, you're going back to your younger self, you were giving guidance and support to your younger self in that moment. It is coming from you and a place of integrity. um, so I have really mixed ideas about time, Rachel, and I do believe that there's a future you that's already and a parallel version of you who's already done that in that building, and you're tapping into that, and that's why your intuition is saying that's what I want. It's already in the design. So you can play with a whole lot of quantum jumping and all sorts of fun things. And I've definitely had clients where they've wanted the house, they've found the vision board of the house that they want, that it represents. And then they've manifested the exact same house. Like it was the one that was in the magazine. So
Yeah, no, that really makes sense. I think I um definitely agree with that and believe in that as well. But like, I'm just curious about the like bringing it back to the lemon thing. Like, if they've never, like, that's not matching up. I don't know how I can't wrap my head around that. Like, you wouldn't be able to do, they wouldn't have the same maybe response if they didn't know what a lemon was.
like if they didn't know what a lemon was, they'd know what a chili is. And you could feel the heat on the tip of your tongue. You just change the script.
Yeah, yeah.
The truth is, Rachel, we actually can't see through windows until we're taught to see through windows.
Who teaches you to see through windows?
Somebody in your childhood suggested, look through the window. And your brain said, is that a thing? I can do that. People in ancient cultures who didn't know about big ships and things like that, they actually couldn't see them on the water. Their brain couldn't compute what they were looking at, so they just don't see them. Yeah. So the hypnosis side of things and playing with quantum reality, it's like, yeah, you'll attract people who know lemons, Rachel, because they've been pulled to you.
So interesting. Mm. Yeah, thanks.
I'll let you guys have a quick drink and we'll be back at 8:30-ish, 10 minutes. Cool.
Hello.
Hello, I'm not testing fate and turning anything off.
Oh, I paused recording. So let me
Okay.
know if, but it looks like it's been fine for you, but yell out if you need me to do something with this version.
Thank you. Yeah, that's never happened before. So that was a bit of a thinking on the spot solutions. I hate those moments.
But it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a matter of restarting my computer. Anyway.
Fun.
Uh, so the hypnosis side of things, you're enjoying this bit so far?
Yeah. Yes.
Bending your mind.
Yeah, you got me on the last one because I was like, oh, you did that and we were just talking. You tricky little lady.
Oh, it's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, yeah. The conversational hypnosis. It's also known as sleight of mouth. So like sleight of hand being with card games. You can do it's called sleight of mouth if you want to Google it.
Actually, I was going to ask you, sleight of mouth. Have you ever done, so a friend of mine had hypnosis. I think he was doing it for health reasons, maybe for pain or something, or gut issues, something. And she gave him like a set of recording things to listen to. Like she recorded. Do you ever do that? Like, have you had that? Does that work? Or what's the benefit in having to do it over and over again? Is that because they're not very good at doing it once?
No, they're just under a different sort of training, a different belief system. So yeah, if I used to play with all of that side of things with go on YouTube and you get some fantastic meditations and hypnosis side of things to make money and all of the things. Yeah, but the shortcut is the way that we do it. We just go and clear the blocks and then it happens.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Yeah. But if somebody, if you went onto Rick's website, he's got 3 or 4 pages of just audios that you can listen to clear the negative emotions inside of things. I mean, it helps in the moment, but um, yeah, it's good self-coaching, I guess. Yeah, good question.
Claire, I've just got a bit of a general sort of coaching question.
I like those, Hayley.
So a couple of clients lately, there's a bit of a theme around like they're doing the work like on themselves, but then their partners are not prepared to do the work on themselves, and that's creating like massive frustrations.
Yeah.
So I imagine this is something that happens a lot.
What is your question, Hayley?
What is my question is what, like, I suppose when I'm working with people, it's like I'm working with them to improve themselves, but they're using their partner as sort of the excuse. So what do you do?
What do? I reinforce that I am on the phone to them, and I would have a different conversation if I was on the phone to their partner. I would be highlighting that if their buttons are being pushed, it's being pushed for a reason, and that we need to go and explore why they're attracting that situation and scenario. So I then bring it back to the client in I would explore. What's the benefit of making it about him? What are you avoiding by not looking at yourself? And they'll say, "Oh no, and you still persist. It's like, okay, but your buttons are being pushed. There's some anger here, powerlessness, frustration. And then I would pretty much go do timeline on when they were not heard and dial down the anxiety around that so that when they do approach their partner, instead of them needing, hear that word, needing the other person to change, it's now an invitation. It's like, I'm doing the work. This is how I want our relationship to be. I walk in the door, things are wonderful. Where do you fit with that? Rather than the old anxious pattern of like needing them to change. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, because then that starts to highlight codependent patterns and other stuff that will show up in their relationships, the relationship with their kids at work, so on and so forth. So yeah, it's a huge dominoes effect. Jess, have you had clients like that where they're focusing on the partner needing to change with your clients?
I've been that client.
I didn't want to be that obvious, but yeah.
No, I mean, that's the thing that stands out to me the most. I'm like, I've definitely been there. Let's just use me as the example. Yeah, it was definitely working on that need, and looking at like that mirror as to like what I think that they're not working on. Where am I not working on that thing within my own life? So it's like the reason that my buttons were being pushed and I was getting triggered by it is because there was something in it for me. And if there were like, for me to do the work in, if it wasn't, like if there's probably other things going on, but my buttons just weren't being pushed because they weren't mirroring back to me where I can do the work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it kind of made sense because it was we weren't going too much into Jess's stuff, but like the mother-in-law got involved and yeah, he wasn't paying attention. And so it was like, okay, but where else in your life have you been made to feel second or wherever we took that, it was, okay, that's an interesting mirror, what's going on?
Yeah. Well, I can do a real easy example because I can go into my personal business. So he pretty much was hiding. He was hiding the fact that he potentially didn't want to be with me for 6 months, but he was like overriding himself so that I wouldn't know. Anyway, broke up and everything, and then I was really angry at him for like hiding it for 6 months. Then I started looking at what I was not telling myself the truth, or like what I was hiding from myself, and that brought out a huge thing. For 6 months, I was hiding that I was unfulfilled in the relationship, or I was unfulfilled there. So it highlighted such a big thing for me. And once I worked on that from that mirror, it was like huge.
I love that.
Yay.
Yeah, that's good. That's given me a lot more like, yeah, clarity around that and how this can help. Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you. Thanks, Jess.
Just happened to be the nice night Jess is here. That's awesome. That's I'm going into your privacy. That's actually why you were here. The breakup and it was like you couldn't concentrate in class. And so it was like, just come back next training. Like this.
It was literally like the day after or 2 days after, and I'm like, Claire, I don't know what happened. Hypnosis.
Can't remember anything, and I don't think you put me in a trance. I just was out of it. Yeah. So that's some incredible synchronicity there, Haley. You'd asked that tonight.
It's just been a real theme this week, so it sort of was just at the forefront of my mind. So yeah.
Nice. Is there any other questions? Okay, so now we're going to do some more suggestibility tests. So again, the suggestibility tests help your clients recognize that that hypnosis and trance works. So if you've got the guidebook there, and it's also going to be in your manual, it's called the finger vice. Now, I'm not going to mess with IT because it's working, but I'd normally stand up now. And I'd ask you to stand up, but let's just be oh, let's just play with this on a Tuesday night. What I want you all to do is to get involved in this process with me. I invite you to just kind of move back so that you've got elbow space, like doing parts integration. Woohoo! You ready for it, Manny? You look excited. And so what I'm going to do is give you all some simple suggestions, and all I need you to do is just to follow along. So we're not going to stand, even though the script says to stand with both feet, but I just want you to be able to put your elbows out like we're Charlie's Angels. We're going to clasp our hands together, and then you're going to we're going to cross the fingers. If you remember back in the play school, I won't go there, but make a chapel with your fingers pointed up. So Sarah, bending those fingers down. Perfect, perfect. Just check everyone's doing that. And I also want you to cross your thumbs over. Bending at the elbows, feeling like Charlie's Angels. And what I want you to do now is I want you to open up your fingers so that there's a bit of a gap. And as you do, starting to push the palms together. So there's a gap. And now as you've got that gap there, I just want you to notice as you look at that space between the gap, starting to focus, that your hand almost starts to feel like there's a bit of a clamp on it. And so just watching as that magnet magically starts to pull together those fingers, and that gap starts to get even smaller, like magnets, pulling those fingers in tighter and tighter. Not yet, but in a moment, you're going to feel those fingers starting to come together, even though you've got that pull there, looking through the gap as those fingers start to come in tighter and tighter. And it's like I come in with that lassoon and I just put this lassoon around your fingers as you look through that gap, but those fingers getting tighter and tighter, stronger and stronger, and then they start to almost magnetically just pull together as those fingers are locked tight, securely tight, feeling that strength like they're super glued together, incredibly tight, harder. And the more that you try to pull them apart, the harder that they stick together, the more that they lock in tight, strongly tight. Continue to focus and allow yourself to become fully absorbed in those fingers, sticking together like one solid unit there. And then on 3, 2, 1, release. And separating your hands and feeling them return back to normal. Sarah, you're right in the middle of my focus. How was that?
That was wow. That was that was solid. Wow.
I forgot to say, like to look between. I forgot to say at the gap, like, don't let those fingers touch, but it didn't matter. You guys all went there. And so, Sarah, you just noticed like your hands just went like.
I could not physically. And the more I tried, my hands hurt more because I was holding it so tight.
Yes. Anyone else feel that feeling? Occasionally I meet up with, any NLP people, and I'm like, go after the pancake parlor, and I'm like, okay, everybody, even though the pancake parlor, the tables are sticky, right? They're like, put your hands on the table, and then I'll do hypnosis-y stuff and notice that your hands get vacuum sucked into the table and you can't move those, and as they're stuck in and all the words, and people are there going, release. Oh, dangerous to take up. But anyone else want to share their experience with the finger vice?
Mine started going in before you even started.
Yeah, we've got rapport, Rachel.
I'll do anything. You even look at me funny and I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah. The truth with the suggestibilities like the finger vice is that whatever the big word is, like the muscles, like Sarah said, like the muscles actually want to pull together. So it might be a little bit sneaky, but you're actually imposing or building the belief, I should say, with the client that hypnosis is working because you've followed the suggestions. And the truth is, even if you hold it out now, doing it, your hands are actually going to fatigue anyway. So it gives you the upper hand to help the client know that if this will work, like the lemon test, then what else will work? So there's a reason why we do this one. In the manual, you'll see that there's the swaying one. I do not do it. I don't like it. The swaying one, you have somebody stand up against a wall and then you invite them to start to sway. And yeah, no, I don't like it. And especially when I teach chiropractors NLP, they're like, don't do that one. I agree. So ignore that one in the manual. But the next one here is we've got the book and the balloon. So what I want you guys to all do is, let me set this up properly. So remember when we went into the circle of excellence and there was like that circle around you, you just had that sense of engagement, excitement about what's to come. I want you to just create that cylinder of light or that circle of excellence around you as we do this process together. And now what I want you to do is to put your hands out like we're sleepwalking. Perfect. And now what I want you to do is just turn one hand upright so it's a bit backwards. Now, as you've got your hands out in front of you, I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes. And now I want you to notice with that hand, I want you to notice with that hand that is looking to the ceiling, I want you to notice that I start to come by and put in this massive big encyclopedia into that hand. And as you hold that hand there, I just want you to notice that the weight of that starts to drop down with that hand there, with all of the weight. But it's quite interesting because I come along to the other hand and I tie this helium balloon around the other wrist. And it's quite sensational how that helium balloon just starts to pull that hand up. As one hand is going down, the other hand starts to lift, going lighter and lighter. And the other hand with the encyclopedia is just getting heavier and heavier. And the other hand going lighter and lighter. And just feeling yourself going into that trance-like feeling as that helium balloon just lightens the load and you just start to go lighter and lighter up to the clouds, feeling that amazing sense as the other hand gets heavier and heavier. It's like, oh, tired of carrying this weight around as you allow that hand to start to drop down even more. And as that's in place now, as the other hand's just being pulled up to the sky, just going to ask you now to hold those hands where they are. And everybody open your eyes and have a look at who's more inclined to be suggestible. Woohoo! Look at us. So there's some clients here where we may be doing coaching more than hypnosis. And the ones who's got their hands out ready for the world to change, you are so ripe and ready for this. Erin, what was that like for you?
Oops. It felt ridiculous, quite frankly. Like even before you said it, my arm was getting heavy with the book. And then as soon as you said the helium balloon, my other arm was like, oh yeah, we can do this.
Isn't that interesting? So you had the magnetism to the lightness. So I was like, yeah, let's just do this.
Yeah, like I felt like I was a step ahead of you each time.
Cool. Sorry, Courtney, your hands, you just went like, yeah, let's do this. That was awesome.
Yeah, I feel like I was the same. Like I felt my hand that was up was heavy straight away. But it was interesting because as soon as you said that we had this big encyclopedia, it was like my whole arm was like shaking. Like, when you hold your arm out and you're trying to hold something really heavy up and your arm shakes, and I couldn't stop it.
Yeah, I saw it shaking. I was, oh gosh, you okay, Courtney?
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, awesome. Does anyone else want to share instead of being called out? Anyone got any questions on that one?
I think this is an interesting, these are interesting examples of the you're in control point, because it's like you could just, like, it's so nice to just go with the flow. Oh, yeah, let that arm drop because it's so heavy, and let that arm be really, really light. And to do the opposite is like you have to really try and focus. And like I had to try and focus and be like, but
Yeah.
you could try and focus and keep your arms equal. But obviously if you're doing hypnosis and you're working on something, not just trying to keep your arms, doing a thing with your arms, you're wanting to go with the flow. So you just drop right into it, and just how easily you can drop right into it once you kind of choose to also just surrender to the process a bit.
Yeah, yeah, you make a really good point with the piece we started off at the beginning was like, yeah, how much do you want this? How much do you want the change? You can all of the processes like the like to dislike and all of that, you can definitely override it and be in control.
Mm.
That then I would be checking in what's the benefits of that? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Why are you wasting your
Lilo,
money?
Lilo, your hands didn't move too much. What
I
more?
think
What did you need different?
no, my arms actually hurt from this hot power Vinyasa session Courtney and I did yesterday. So when I did that, I was like, oh no, it just started shaking and I was in pain already. So I feel like
I should have checked that one. I should have
like,
checked.
it was a really intense session where we do like downward dog most of the time, and my arms are just really. So I think I cheated.
No, that like you make a really, 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 really good point about the if the client's in pain. Because I know I brought up someone for a demo once with the finger vice, and I didn't know they had like a paper cut or something going on, and just the pain just overrode the whole thing. You're like, oh, David, it didn't work, and it was like, no, it did work. Pick your demos, ask better questions. Yeah. So, what do you think of that process, Lilo? That one and like the lemon one and the finger vice, like what are your thoughts about this weird and wonderful world that we're entering?
I love it. Similar to what Rachel said of how easily susceptible you can be if you choose to go down that path.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
And that's yeah.
get easily hypnotized. And I like that you said that it's like something you train towards. Because when I first got hypnotized, I was like, why is it not happening? So it's just nice to know that is training.
Yeah, training, rapport. Um, there's also tricks the hypnotherapists can do, which takes like building the muscle, like the downward dog thing. I will deliberately go into a trance as well with the client. So imagine if we're both doing the dance and then I take the lead, like formal ballroom dancing. I go into a trance, the client's go, oh, okay, cool, let's do this together. And takes a bit of intentional training on my end to go into a trance and still facilitate. It's an interesting mind bend, but it does make a difference. And what are your thoughts on that, Lilo? If the hypnotherapist goes into trance with you?
I kind of like that. Yeah, I wouldn't feel so alone, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely something to work towards. Yeah, if you're doing this day in day out, it happens yeah, just another thing to challenge yourself.
Would they notice? Like, would you notice
Have
that?
you noticed?
No, clearly not. Too
Like,
much in
Claire,
my
what if
own
I get it
head.
wrong? And I'm like, I'm gonna get it wrong. Like, you're going to go. Oh, she put herself on mute.
You know,
I
this is
have a
my standard.
question.
Yeah, Sarah.
So if you're doing it and you actually go into the hypnosis with the client,
Mm.
how do you know to control it and to stop it? Like if you're in it as well.
Would you say that you go into a trance when you connect to spirit?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you're still doing we have to actually. You can't
Yeah,
do,
yeah, yeah.
if you're
Good
doing it,
point.
if you're doing it correctly, you're going into a theta brainwave and you're connecting to
Yeah,
spirit, and then you're trusting, and then you're speaking, you're allowing them to either speak through you or giving you
yeah.
the knowing. Same.
So yeah, okay, yeah. I just sort of thought. Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a worry. You know when you drive home and you don't remember deliberately making the turn, but cell memory, like it's kind of the same. Yeah.
And so if someone didn't pass the susceptibility test, would you just park hypnosis for that session and do something else? Or, as you said before, would you be asking them the questions? I think you said, like, what are their benefits that they're getting from resisting or from not following? Like, where would you take that, Claire?
Truth is, I haven't done a suggestibility test in years with a hypnotherapy client because I've kind of bypassed that with some of the master stuff that's taught to check that what they're getting before I even suggest hypnotherapy. So there's other questions that I'll ask, and I'll check how much they trust themselves on that before I suggest hypnosis. There's definitely some people that just so need to vent, and then I'll just do conversational belief change. They come away from the session feeling lighter, and then it sets us up for the next session.
Have you taught us conversational belief change?
Technically, it's a master skill, but yeah, again, that's a whole nother conversation. I won't be formally teaching NLP masters in the near future, but I will be teaching the good stuff next year. The good stuff. I believe, as you've heard me say, I believe that time has sped up, and I believe that people are in the place to receive some of the high vibe stuff without there's enough Instagram stuff and TikToks and things that people kind of get this, that we don't need to spend too much time on some of the things. So yeah, anyway. Okay. Any other questions? You'll see in the guidebook that I sent that there's a few other notes there about preparing your client for hypnosis. It's much of the same things that I've been answering that you've been asking. It's all normal. Um, Sometimes, as we've already kind of discussed, clients will get fixated that they assume they're going to visualize. Um, this isn't true. I know for myself, as other people have explained, unless you actually ask me to look at the thing, I will have knowings like what Lily was getting. Uh, and then sometimes the experience is just like, boom, past lives, and I'm right there, and yeah, wow. Um, yeah. So anyway, so there is a condition, it's quite rare, called aphantasia, and it's where people can't mentally picture or voluntarily can't picture things in their mind. Only 3% of the population have that condition. So I've only met one person with it. I, if somebody is saying that they can't visualize, that's awesome. You encourage them to feel into the process or engage in their AD of the knowing. I'm looking at the guidebook still here. Any questions on the can't visualize piece? I feel like we've covered that though. Similar to timeline with the trauma side of things, as you gain confidence working with your clients, helping them improve their lives, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes you need to keep in mind that you need to have things set up in place like their safe space, which is something that we've already covered with anchoring safety to the crystal, so that if there's something yucky, that's okay, floating higher and higher. And you can take them to the safe space or floating higher and higher and then back to now to unpack it. But there are things that you can set up if you suspect that your client's really nervous. I have a client who is going through a hell kind of time with domestic violence at the moment. She signed up for coaching to increase her business, and then all of the other spirit world said, great, Claire's in the picture. Let's bring all this stuff to the surface. So this has been an integral piece in her calming her nervous system, to have that safe space to go to, even if she is not on the call with me. Nicole, that is when she does have the recording, my trigger response questionnaire, where it takes her back to that spot, and then there's journaling questions. So it's well worth having that in the toolkit. I do know some people that I've taught NLP, they're a chiropractor, and she needed to have the safe place set up for some clients who needed the adjustment but was terrified. So she does a whole hybrid thing of that. Any questions on that one, or is it pretty, we've covered that with timeline? We've covered that. Okay, we're getting closer and closer to the structure of a session. If you've got the guidebook up there, you'll see that there is structure of a hypnosis session. You'll see there's also thorough steps in a session. If anyone's got that guidebook, sing out on what page that is, please. Oh, you're on mute, Sarah.
Yeah, 15.
We all psychically got that too, so that was good. Good transfer there. So typically which one should we have a look at? In a hypnosis session, the thorough steps, you'll do the interview. What's the problem? How is it a problem? All of the things we covered within the structuring of a session. So there's that coaching piece that comes into it. Step 2 is to demystify hypnosis. I always just tell clients it's like being at a red light, losing track of time, it's natural state, that we go into it all the time, that you'll be in control. Do they have any questions? Some clients don't even want to know that stuff. They're like, just hurry up and do it. But yeah, that's when you do the interview, demystify hypnosis, you'll be in control the whole time. That's where you can do the suggestibility test. So I've got a friend who does quit smoking. That's when she'll do the lemon for the first time client. Then you do what's called an induction. The intention of an induction is to take the person from this talking state to start to allow themselves to go into that hypnotic state, to start to journey inward, so to start to quieten the world. And you may have heard me within this training and other recordings and things. Sometimes I will do a countdown. Other times I'll bring in a cylinder of light. Sometimes I'll do notice the perfection and the calmness in your earlobes and get that to move throughout your whole body. Like, the induction is just getting them to switch off from their to-do list and bringing the focus inward. Then the next piece, the deepener, sounds like it's the same thing, but it's not. So the clients had that pocket of time of like venting and all the things, and then, okay, breathe, go inward. The deepener is now taking them down some stairs, or floating up onto a cloud, or going in an elevator, or walking along the beach. It feels repetitive, but it really allows the client to slow things down. Truth be told, you don't always need to do a deepener. But if it's a first-time client, if it's trauma, the deepener, the better. So yeah, we're going to cover that in a moment. Once they're in that trance state, because you've seen them, swallowing, or the eyes, or you just can tell, that's when you do the change work. So the change work can be things like timeline. It can be things like the fast phobia. It can be getting a book of hypnotic scripts online, and then implementing that piece. This is also when I would do past life regression, or I would do whatever or quantum jumping into the future. So that's where the change work happens. And then the next piece there is the wake up. And that's where obviously you're saying something like, on a count of 5, on the count of 1, you're going to come back to the room. Shocking, I'm not doing it properly right now, but I'll come to it. And then the last piece is really important, is the check-in. Again, I'm going to go into detail on all of those steps, but the check-in is addressing any of their concerns, or the ahas. Some clients have a convincer that the process happened because they got to talk about it. I don't know why, but this is why in a training setting, we'll do a process and I'll come back, any questions, any ahas, because there's always going to be somebody who needs to talk it out to know that it actually happened. So some clients don't need that. Some clients do. There's no rule of thumb. It's just what the client needs. With those overall steps, is that making sense? Yeah.
Claire, I think I'm a bit confused of like you can facilitate a lot of the processes we've learned, like timeline, without the hypnotic steps first. So is there a benefit, what's the difference between when you would use trance versus not for a certain process?
Yeah, good question. So if the client is indicating, if the client's never done coaching before, if the client's indicating and they're hyper fixated that they don't know when the problem began, then Rachel, politely, it's good to just shut them up and get them out of the way and just put them into a trance so that then you can go do the work. That's me being black and white without with respect and real, like, no, we just get them to be in a relaxed state so that they can get the confidence that they can make the move. So sometimes that's a little bit like a doctor's anesthetic. You can just knock them out so you can get the work done.
Fair
I'm
enough.
watching your face, Nicole.
Why?
Oh, well, you tell me if I'm saying too much, but we're doing the process about meeting your spirit guides, and Nicole's like, will I? Could I? Should I? And I'm like,
Yeah.
do you trust the hypnosis process? Like, when have I failed you?
Hi, if it's not you, it's all in my head.
So Rachel, that's when I get her out of the way, and I you get my humor though, right? Like, it's no
Totally.
with something more serious though, like the client that's got the heavy duty toxic situation. She needs that. Her body and her mind actually needs to be told, relax.
Yeah, I
Um,
was going to say for something that's like, yeah, quite heavy, is this
yeah.
yeah, I don't know, safer or more comfortable or something like that?
Yeah, all of those things, yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So if you're getting up to mischief and you're exploring and manifesting and doing all the things, then yeah, you can play with it. And then for more serious cases, then it's about getting them to actually have that space in their nervous system to breathe.
Yeah.
So you'll find that again, one reason why I'll be changing it next year, and another reason why I'm releasing all the books and scripts that I am, is that the NLP doesn't really offer what change work. Don't know why. Um, so if you did the clinical hypnosis side of things, this is where they suggest different kind of scripts, or you can write your own scripts about weight loss or performance or all of those things. So yeah. Alrighty. Knowing that it's 9 o'clock, this is actually the perfect time to go into this next piece. And we started late, but I'll still finish on time. Is there any questions about anything before I go into the next piece? Okay. What have I got here? So two things. I'm going to ask you to not go into trance. I'm going to ask you to listen to this next paragraph, and I want you to think about the language patterns that we've covered with linguistic presuppositions. Remember, there was things like cause and effect, complex equivalence. There was other things in there, pacing, unspecified verbs. I want you to just listen to this paragraph and I want you to listen out for the cause and effect. So there's a whole level of trance and go down and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But the next piece in the script is to say, as you're seated, take 3 low, deep breaths. And now focus clearly on the sound of my voice and let nothing distract you from my voice. You will hear sounds other than my voice, but you won't let them bother you or distract you from my voice. You will hear and remember every word I say, and as you focus on the sound of my voice, it becomes the center of your concentration. You will notice that the sound of my voice will make you feel drowsy and relaxed. Can anyone pick up on like already there's cause and effect here? You're picking up that there's complex equivalence here, that let's see if I can share it. Don't mind all of my other private mess of the stuff here. Yeah. Can you see that word document there? Can you see that in the pink I've got highlighted there's a cause and effect? You will hear the sound of my voice, but you won't let them, sorry, you will hear sounds other than my voice, but you won't let them bother you or distract you from my voice. Like that's absolutely nonsense logically, but hypnotically, the client's taking on that suggestion that if they hear the motorbikes or they hear the dogs or the phone rings or the cleaner comes and starts vacuuming, we've already set them up to know that that'll just signal you to go deeper and deeper. Now I haven't introduced the other pieces to that, but um, you'll see or you'll notice there that we intertwine a lot of poetic kind of language within the hypnosis scripts. This equals that, cause and effect. What does that say? That very soon your eyes will want to close over. That logically, like, no, it might not. But when you put somebody into a trance, they just accept that to be true. Is this making sense with what we've learned with linguistic presuppositions? There's another one here in my mess of things here, unspecified verbs. We're not going to do that. You'll just go into a trance anyway. But I want you to start to take notice between now and next week when you have a look at the scripts that there's a whole lot of NLP things you've already learnt that, if we just started off doing hypnosis, you'd probably maybe freak out. There's too much here. But believe me, your confidence has already been brought up to the top-notch level where you already know this stuff. Yeah? So, again, knowing it's the end of the night, I'm going to take you all through a Milton model hypnosis. We are learning Milton hypnotherapy. And I just want you to feel what it feels like to have that full experience of the Milton hypnosis. There isn't any change work, but it's a really good thing to do before you go to bed and to relax you and to have that experience. Cool. When people come to my groups that I sometimes host, I'll do more group coaching next year. But people know this is coming and they're already in their beds by now. They're like, all right, I'm ready for it, Claire.
Yeah, I'll be fun to drive home afterwards.
Yeah, but do you want to watch the replay on this one, Lily?
Yeah, I think I might because
Yeah, no,
I've got to drive, so I don't
Yeah.
want to be like falling asleep and driving.
Bye, Lily.
All right, I might go then.
Yeah, I don't want that responsibility on me, but bye. But obviously, clients are going to have a hypnotherapy session and still need to drive home. So it's perfectly safe, but I'm really mindful she's got 6 children waiting for bed and school the next day. It doesn't, she goes, huge. Okay, so sitting back, listening to the sound of my voice, and focusing only on the sound of my voice. You'll have total and complete control while listening to the sound of my voice. And I'd like you to notice each inflection in my voice, the pitch of my voice, and every word as if it's your own voice in your own mind. And you don't have to relax now. You won't even feel tired at all. But listening to the sound of my voice, sounding like your inner dialogue, it's absolutely perfect now. That's right. You don't have to relax at all, and you won't even feel tired or even seem sleepy at all. It's like you're simply observing my voice, noticing it at a much deeper level now, listening to the sound of my voice causes you to notice small shifts in you or seeing pictures in your mind that cause you to go deeper, deeper into your imagination. So, in a moment, not now, you might begin to relax at an unconscious level, causing your unconscious mind to relax deeply. And I know you're thinking those thoughts, and it's a good thing to think those thoughts, as those very thoughts may cause you to go deeper and deeper into a soft meditation-like trance. It's so easy to just dream and drift and drop and fall, just dreaming, drifting, dropping, falling easily into your dream state, causing you to gain those special insights. That's right. Those insights that you perceive and preserve in the special place where all those special learnings and insights are kept. You might feel certain shifts as your unconscious mind gains the insights at a deeper level. And every shift that you make at an unconscious level causes you to go deeper, deeper, deeper. Now more relaxed. As you make connections, as you continue to relax, as you make deeper connections with your unconscious now, that you begin to slow your breathing or just relax as you are here and you can hear my voice. And sometimes it may sound like this, and sometimes it may sound like your inner dialogue, and at times it may even sound like your unconscious mind is making connections immediately, or if those connections will be made at the moment you relax. Now, that's right. Those connections as your breathing slows deeper to relax. And it's more or less the right thing to continue, just streaming, drifting, dropping down, streaming, drifting, dropping as you begin to relax. You're unconscious now. At times, it might sound like the sound of my voice is taking you deeper, deeper down to relax. Or at times, it might sound like your inner dialogue, though the deeper you go, my voice will go with you. And it reminds me of a time I was talking to a good friend who lived by the calm ocean in the Greek islands, whose cousin George talked to his uncle, who explained the relaxation was merely just a state of mind as you focus on your unconscious and allow yourself to continue just dreaming, drifting, dropping, just dreaming, drifting, dropping as you begin to relax. You're unconscious now. And at times it might sound like my voice is talking to you deeper, deeper, and deeper. Or it might sound like you're in dialogue, though The deeper you go, my voice will continue as your chair and your bed just beckons you to relax. How will you feel when you relax easily into your body, feeling the relaxation at a deep, unconscious level? Having that rest, rewinding of time in that deep, deep sleep. The deepest, most relaxed sleep of all, as you let go of all of your thoughts, imagining them floating away on clouds on that breezy day, just moving off to some other horizon, some other moment of time. You are sleeping easily now that you recall that time that you were in the deepest of sleeps, on the softest of beds, and your head on the most fluffy of pillows. And you just rest your head now, relaxing easily now. And I'm not sure if you'll relax deeply now or soon. Your eyelids will feel like little weights. They're just resting upon them, keeping your eyelids shut as you start to sleep, sleep, dreaming, drifting, dropping. That's right. Just like that. Just feeling relaxed now. Or in a moment, you can relax later and you may hear my voice or your inner dialogue relaxing easily. Or in a moment, and you may feel comfortable or relaxed. Either way, you will relax now or later, as you might dream or drift or drop deeply into that trance. And just getting those insights as they come in easily. You can get them now or later, and you can learn them now or later. You will succeed. As you relax, you learn that the more that you relax deeply, the easier it is to have what you want. So, when's a good time to start? Now, you might find it simply or easily in a moment, not now, but finding the answers that you need. Either way is fine. And you either will now or later start to relax, hearing the sound of my voice as you breathe in and out. You'll find it easier as you relax even more. As you're sitting there, feeling those feelings, hearing those words, seeing the pictures in your imagination. And you may be saying those words in your mind as you relax. And your mind may want to wander. And it's a good thing to wander. As you're wandering now, as your heart starts to beat slowly, body fully refreshed with blood, and hearing the sound of my voice, feeling the temperature around you. Now, as you're sitting there, it's time to return back to this now moment. So in a moment, not now, I'm going to count from 1 to 5, and you'll awaken 20% with each count. So on 1, locking these suggestions at a deep unconscious level. On 2, feeling a sense of vibrancy and alertness returning back to your body. On 5, wondering what it's like to look at the world through new eyes. And on 5, coming all the way up now, feeling wide awake, refreshed, but knowing it's nearly bedtime. Just starting to come back to the room and opening your eyes to a whole new you.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
I invited my husband to do this because he came in as we're doing it. And Kevin, would you like to tell the group what you just said? Amazing. Oh, there he is. Can you see? It's amazing.
That's awesome. Where did you travel to, Sarah?
Well, I actually went to my bed because I don't sleep very well. So I just went straight to the bed. But then I drifted up into the like stars.
Yeah.
As you went like higher and higher, and then but it felt like I was deeper in my pillow, but I was up higher with the stars.
Your
So
body and
yeah.
mind probably needed that today.
Oh, and yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I felt like when you were saying go back, when you subconsciously thought, oh, it was like this, I could just see myself straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well done.
Like,
That's
yeah.
awesome. I think I was a little bit, I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit skeptic to start because I've kind of never really delved into it. I know I've done a little bit of past life and things,
Yeah.
but I was a little bit, will I actually work for me? Because I do struggle to do the good old meditation sometimes. So, but yes, that was a bit of a aha moment, Claire, I must admit. So thank you.
And there's a difference with meditation is, connecting to connecting into that infinite wisdom, but the hypnosis side of things, I believe, is connecting to your infinite wisdom.
Yeah, it was amazing. I loved it.
This is where you can, hit record and use this sort of thing to go on a journey before sleep. If anybody's looking at the guidebook, I'm going to have to fix it because it says we count down from 1 to 5, and then good old Word documents changed it to 1, 2, 3. I stayed calm, Erin. I stayed calm.
I did hear that, and I was like, I think you just missed a number. Oh well.
Oh, you can actually do that with trance. You actually deliberately confuse them and use wrong numbers. So yeah, I did use the wrong number. I didn't care. Anyone else want to share what that was like? Some of you have very
Sorry,
strong chairs.
I
Yeah,
was
carry
going to say, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to try and do that again another time.
Yeah.
I put my head down and closed my eyes and nearly felt I was going to fall off the seat because I'm struggling to stay awake. Bad jet lag. So I just, yeah, I had to keep myself consciously awake.
Really? You didn't let yourself go into sleep? We would have called you back.
No, I kept feeling like I was going to fall off.
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry, but I think I'll try it again when I'm not so out of it.
Yeah. It's one that I've done at 9 o'clock at night, and hopefully you're all feeling a bit drowsy, ready for sleep anyway.
Can I ask, I really, really, really enjoyed it, by the way. I felt yeah, particularly the beginning, I felt super relaxed. It was amazing. And then just before you said the word blood,
Yeah, that wasn't in there. I got gibberish. Sorry about that one.
no,
Yes.
no, no. It was just so I saw just before you said that, like I won't even describe it because it's quite graphic. Um like so not nice stuff because it was all very like I felt very relaxed. It was like amazing. And so I guess just any questions on like this is now just asking for me personally based on my experience. Like, do I just let go of what I saw? Is there something there that I should explore? And if so, how?
Yeah, the script here says, and you might feel your heart pumping slowly now as the blood in your body is refreshed. And yeah, I was going into a trance too, guys. I was like, the blood is what? The blood is in your body. You're like, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, as the blood in your body is refreshed by the sound of my voice, as you feel the temperature around you now. Lucy, I would just put whatever image that came up on a cloud and let it go off to another horizon.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah. There's the alpha induction, which we'll go over next time, because I don't know how much trance you guys have been in and out of tonight. And the alpha relaxation induction, I mean, Sarah, that's the one I'd grab your husband and give that one a go too, is the one that if somebody's super stressed, that's the one to take them through is the alpha relaxation. And that one's got the numbers correct too, so we're winning. But the alpha relaxation induction, what it will do, and I'll go over it in more detail next time, is it goes over a brief induction on one, feel the energy. Hold on, that's the wake up script. Where are we? Right up. This one illustrates very clearly about the induction, about you're at some stairs and we're going to come down, focusing on my voice, be aware of the wave of calmness. And then it does another deepener. It goes in and says 5, and I want you to feel it now from the top of your head, such and such. 4, feel the calmness, move through your body. On 3, and then wake up out of the script. So if you had a client who was super nervous, you could do that alpha induction. Where am I going with this? If you're having trouble sleeping, you can take yourself through the alpha induction. It will help really relax you. We'll go over that next week. Cool. So if you want to prepare yourselves for what's to come, there is a bit of a hypnosis assessment which will happen next week. You'll get paired up, and there's the Dave Ellman hypnotic induction. Now, this is fabulous in person. It still works online. It just is, it is what it is. So there's an opportunity there for you to practice with a friend that you trust. But next week I'll be pairing you up into breakout rooms and you'll be taking your person through the Dave Ellman one, hand up above the eyes, relaxing the muscles, transferring, so on and so forth. We will go over that, but next week is breakout rooms. You will see within the Dave Ellman process, roughly step 7-ish, if I remember correct. This is where you need to be switched on and come prepared, because there's a moment in that script where you get to be the coach and you get to put your suggestion in for your client. So think about a paragraph, like a few sentences. If for anybody in this group, the little example that I've got there is, knowing that you're in that trance, stepping into the truth of who you are, knowing that you are confident, radiant, successful woman. Isn't that right, Manny? I've got here free of the hardship and claiming your abundance. Like, you just need to give your person an empowering statement. So if you know that you've got somebody, sorry, Sarah, but if you know you've got somebody going through grief, you paired up with Sarah, this is your moment to say that you're safe in your body, feeling the feelings as your mind and body know how to process that, coming back to your heartfelt energy, or you could end up with somebody else and it's like, yeah, stepping into your business, noticing that you're completely magnetic to the clients that your dream clients. So maybe next week come to class with a few ones that are your go-to, because you will be put on the spot next week. Are you coming back next week, Jess, or you've got your hypnotic fix?
I don't know. What do I? Is it more just the practicing?
So we're going to do the Dave Ellman one, and then we're going to go into hypnotic language. That one's always fun. Just having a quick look. We're going to briefly talk about self-hypnosis and any other questions that come up. But if you're referring to the other scripts that are in that book, I've actually combined the master scripts with the practitioner script. So I've got one document at my end So that's pretty much what we're going to cover, is that the Dave Elman stuff.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, come play. In that book, you've got, and check him out on YouTube, you've got Jevon's quit smoking script. I threw that in there because it's in the manual. I don't know how many people we come across smokers anymore. It looks like I've taken out the glove amnesia. But yeah, you've got a variety of different scripts in there. So yeah, next week is more hypnosis. All right. Any other last questions?
Claire, sorry, do you mind popping in the Facebook group which ones to have a read through for next week?
Yep.
Which ones to recommend, just to familiarize?
Let me quickly share my screen as I go up back to the web. I've got a lot of the more trainers content here that's not on yours. See that nifty dude there? Dave Elman, hypnotic induction.
Yeah.
I'll take you through the steps next week and put you in the breakout rooms. So there's a variety of different suggestibility tests and things that happen in that process, and it's really, really easy. And then you get to do this one here with the lovely rose, and that's about putting in your suggestions for your client. If you were taking this script to a coaching session, that's when you would probably spend about half an hour doing the intervention there, but you'll only spend maybe 2 minutes in that, or 30 seconds in that little bit.
Right.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's all the language slides. Bear with me. We'll cover the self-hypnosis piece. And then you'll have George Estabrooks in your manual. I won't go into that. That guy has the exact same birthday as me. Don't know why you need to know that, but he does. The reason that that one is in the manual is it gives you an example of the direct hypnosis compared to Milton, which is all kind of fluffy and be on a cloud and your heart is beating and it's wonderful. This one's very direct. So yeah, we've just got the contrast there with that one. Where's the stop share?
Cool. Thank you. When is your birthday, Claire? It's soon.
The 16th of December.
Okay.
Is yours, Rachel?
Mine is the 22nd of March.
Woohoo! Awesome. All right. Well, I'll see you on Facebook, or I'll see you next week. And yeah, Sarah, you'll send our good wishes to Ray, and yep.
Yes, I will. Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
sure. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. And I'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye.
Claire.
Take care, Sarah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.